I've done a lot of car camping over the years, primarily in a Nissan Rogue, and that went pretty well, no problems. But now I have the Tesla Model Y, and that's a lot better. I recently took a car camping trip from Virginia to Wyoming and back in my Model Y, and I'm going to give you 5 tips for car camping in your Model Y. So the first tip for car camping in your Model Y has to do with the mattress you're going to use. Now there are a lot of mattresses for the Model Y. In fact, Tesla sells one. There are a lot on Amazon, and they're mostly fairly expensive, maybe between $100, $150, $200. But maybe you don't need that. Maybe you can have a more general mattress, not one specific to the Model Y. There have been 2 main mattresses that I've used over the years. One is this foam mattress that's 4 inches high and about 72 inches long. This has actually worked fairly well. It's fairly comfortable. And the nice thing about it is that you can just fold it up like so. And if you're using this, it's obviously taking up a lot less space in your car. However, this is not really the one that I would recommend. I much prefer to use an inflatable mattress. And I'll show you the one that I use. The primary mattress that I've used for a lot of years is this inflatable 10-inch high mattress from Intex. This is easy to pump up. It only takes a few minutes, and it's pretty comfortable, fits in the car very easily. And the really nice thing about this is you can currently, in 2024, get this at Target for $14.99. And I don't think you're going to find anything less than that you're going to want to sleep on. So here we have the mattress. Folds up pretty small when you're not using it. So I'm going to inflate it, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's fully inflated. So I have the mattress fully inflated now. It took about 2 minutes. And of course, I didn't huff and puff. I used this battery-powered air compressor to fill the mattress up. Very quick, very easy. To get the mattress in the car and get your tailgate closed, you may need to pull your seats up a little bit, but you can see here just how much space there is for the mattress once the seats are up a little bit. And then you can definitely close your tailgate. And once the tailgate's closed, then you can move your seats back. And it's easy to drive with the mattress fully inflated. No problem at all. I like being able to have this fully inflated while I'm driving because I don't want to have to do a lot of preparation for sleeping at night. I want to just get to wherever I'm going and be able to climb in the back here. And this makes it really easy and convenient to do it. Plus, as I said, you can't beat the price, $15. The second tip I want to mention isn't really specific to the Model Y. It's really good for any car camping. But that's where you're going to camp. And to be honest, my favorite place to camp is interstate rest areas. Of course, they're free. They're usually well lit. You've got some amount of police patrol in the area. Now, they've never bothered me, but it's good to know that they're there. You've got bathroom facilities there, which is good. They're open all night. I've done overnight camping at interstate rest areas in many states, probably 15 to 20. It's always worked out very nicely. I've been very happy with it. Now, some rest areas in some states are nicer than others. Now, there are rest areas on regular interstates, and then there are rest areas on toll roads. And in general, the toll road rest areas are nicer. And you can even get something to eat there, usually. And another nice perk of toll road rest areas is that sometimes they have EV chargers. I've been at rest areas on the Maine Turnpike and the Kansas Turnpike, and they both had EV chargers there. So that's a really nice perk. Now, of course, with a toll road, you're going to be paying money, so it's not entirely free. But still, if you're traveling and it doesn't cost you too much, and you can stay at a pretty nice place for the night and maybe charge your car, I'd say that's a win-win. So one way or the other, rest areas are a great place to car camp. Tip number 3 for Model Y camping is that, of course, you're going to want to take your Tesla mobile charger, which I assume you already have. Now, the tip really is that you're going to need a variety of plugs for this. When I bought the Tesla mobile charger a few months ago, it came with the regular home plug, the regular 3-prong home plug, and then a 4-prong 220 plug. So these 2 plugs came with the Tesla mobile charger when I bought it. Now, what I've since found out is that you also need the 3-prong 220 plug, because sometimes when you're going to want to charge on the road, there'll be the 4-prong 220, but sometimes there'll only be the 3-prong 220. Now you might ask, if you're staying in an interstate rest area, why do you need the mobile charging plugs at all? Well, because sometimes you won't be staying in rest areas, and another great place to stay is camping sites. So on my recent trip, I stayed at one camping site and was able to use my 4-prong plug. That was great. But then I stayed at another site. In fact, it was the international headquarters of the outdoor store Cabela in Sidney, Nebraska. And they needed just the 3-prong plug, which I did not have at the time. That Cabela's campsite in Sidney, Nebraska, by the way, I highly recommend. It's very nice, and it was under $20 for the night, including the charging if I'd been able to use it. So when I got back from the trip, I got the Tesla 3-prong charger, which was under $50 to buy. You don't necessarily need the Tesla plug. You can purchase an adapter that will allow you to plug the 4-prong plug into a 3-prong outlet. I decided to buy the actual Tesla plug just because I figured I knew what the quality of that was, and with the adapters I wasn't sure. But one way or the other, if you're going on the road, you're going to want to take all 3 plugs. You might ask, why do you want the home plug? Well, if you stop at a hotel, they might just have an outside outlet that you can plug this into. And even though you'd only get maybe 4 or 5 miles per hour charging there, that's still better than nothing. And if you're staying overnight, you can get 50 miles of charging. Tip number 4 for car camping in the Tesla is that you're going to want to make sure you have enough charge in your car to be able to use camp mode. Camp mode is the mode that keeps the temperature steady overnight. So whether it's too hot or too cold, you can set the temperature in your car to 70, 72 degrees, whatever you like, and it'll stay there overnight and you can be comfortable. That's great, and that's really why the Model Y is the best car around, I think, for car camping. But you have to make sure you have enough charge, because you can only use camp mode when you have over 20% in your battery. So one funny thing with the Tesla and how it routes you to superchargers and to your destination is that the routing doesn't really take into account how much charge you're going to have left when you get to your destination. So you might have in that you want to stop at a rest area on an interstate somewhere, and Tesla will route you there and get you there with a charge, but it might not have enough. So what you're going to want to do is maybe 50 to 80 miles before you stop for the night, you're going to want to charge your car up. You're going to want to make sure that when you stop for the night, you have 50% or so of your battery, and that way you're not going to have any problem with using camp mode overnight. Now, I would try to make sure that I have 50% of my battery, or at least say 40%, even if I'm going to a campsite where I think there is going to be charging. Because you never really know. Maybe their charging at that particular campsite will not be compatible with what you have, or maybe it simply won't work. And if that's the case, you want to be sure you can still use camp mode overnight, regardless. So one thing you might not think about for car camping is that you're going to want to have some privacy. And also, if you take my advice and you car camp in rest areas, you're going to have cars coming in all through the night and shining their headlights in your window, which makes it harder to sleep. And so to solve both of those problems, you need to be able to put something over your windows so people can't see in and the headlights can't get in. So in my Nissan Rogue that I used for so many years to car camp, I would just try to put something over the windows. I'd put my bag there, I'd put a sheet there, or I'd put a jacket over the windows. I'd try all kinds of things to try to keep the light out. And none of them worked terribly well. Fortunately, with the Model Y, there are so many Model Ys that there are tons of accessories. And one of the accessories you can buy is these panels that you can put over your windows that will both give you some privacy and will also keep the headlights out. So I got these off of Amazon. I think they were around $50, and they are able to go on all the windows except for the roof. And they're pretty easy and fit pretty well. So let's look inside and see how they work. So as you can see, I have the front windshield block panel in here, and I have a couple of these other panels in. They're very easy to get in. You just kind of push them in and they stick pretty well. And then they have a little bit of a film around the edges where you can spread out a little bit to keep the light out. But they do cover all the windows. They don't cover the ceiling, the glass roof, but other than that, they do cover all the windows. So that's 5 tips for car camping in your Model Y. I do think the Model Y is the best car you can use for car camping. And I love car camping. I think everybody should get out there and do it. So good luck and have fun on your next trip. So if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel Adventures in a Silver Tesla.